Hey Crystal, it's Allison from Curio Design Studio, and this is your project walkthrough for your family room. We're just going to start out over in plan view here so we can get an idea of how the space is going to lay out. When we talked in our meeting, you had mentioned that one of your biggest problems with the space and the furniture placement was your front door that in the front here, kind of creating a traffic pattern through the middle of your space through to the back of the rest of your house. So that makes laying out your furniture a little bit tricky in a functional way. So as you can see in this plan view here, I've suggested moving the sofa over to this wall. So originally it was tucked in this corner right here, which it fits well there, but it doesn't really allow you to utilize the rest of the space to its full potential. So by rotating the sofa and putting it here, we kind of create this area as its own little space. And I really wanted to make this area kind of designated as your own little entry hall. So by having this furniture here to divide the space, we've created a place for a drop zone for keys and mail when you walk in, a place to put coats, and kind of keep that from overflowing into the rest of the space. So we'll just swing around here and take a look. So this would be coming in the front door here. So in this corner, I really wanted to create a little cozy reading area. I know you'd mentioned that book storage was really important and that your family loves to read. So this is kind of a great use of this space to be able to make it functional and still cohesive with the rest of the plan. And it also kind of functions as its own little space. So adding a couple of chairs, a couple of little ottomans so that these can easily be moved when someone's sitting here and they want to kick their feet up, or if you have a couple more guests, these can easily be moved over into this sofa area for a larger conversation group or for TV watching. I've also included some hanging pendants. So these just plug in. So you can just run the cord, back down through this corner, which will be kind of concealed by the curtain, and plug in. But I think it's a really nice way to anchor space, give you a little bit of ambient lighting for reading, as well as keeping a table surface clear. I know with little ones, having, table lamps or things that can get knocked over easily isn't always the best solution. So here you have, a place to set your coffee when you're curled up, and, you still keep this surface clear, but you still have the light here. So I really love the idea of that. Another thing that I had mentioned, let's see if I can swing around here. So your entryway. So currently with your sofa over here, this was kind of just in the middle of your room, and you come in and everything's going to just end up in a pile on the floor here and kind of explode into your living space. So as I mentioned before, just by positioning your sofa like this, we kind of create our own little room here. A couple of solutions for storage and entryways over here is one, these are some coat hooks, which they can look sculptural and structural. So if there's nothing hanging on, I know you guys don't have cold weather, so you don't have a lot of coats and jackets and things, but it's nice to have a purse or a sweater or something, just a place to hang that so it doesn't just end up in a pile on the floor. But when nothing is hanging on it, at least it looks interesting. It's not just a row of hooks. It's kind of sculptural and visually interesting. Here we have a little console table. So this is what I like to just call a drop zone, or kind of your checkpoint when you're walking out the door. So when you come in, this is a place where you can set keys, mail, your phone, everything that needs a place to live when you need your hands free coming in the door. And then same thing going out the door. It's a place where you can, maybe add a little bowl or a tray here where your keys are, so you can come over here, grab your keys, check yourself in the mirror, and head out the door. Another unique solution here that we came up with is some kind of interesting shoe storage. So rather than just having a shoe rack or one of those IKEA shoe drawers, these are actually IKEA lac shelves. So they're wall-mounted floating shelves. But just love the idea of mounting them under this console table, so they fit right under there, but it's just a great place to tuck away some sandals, some running shoes, so again, they don't end up just in a pile on the floor right here. So it feels really functional and purposeful, you know, that everything kind of has a place. So that's kind of the main things with your art. Let's see, we added some of your existing art over here, and you can see in the design document which prints we have going where and exactly how high to be mounted, and then just adding a couple more of these IKEA lac shelves over here. So that's just a little bit more storage. So if you have some overflow books or, you know, some more artwork or accessories that you want to incorporate into this space, this is a great place to display those. And again, just a little bit of book overflow storage. I'm kind of imagining that this is kind of the book storage more for your children, whether these baskets are down here, up here. That's nice to just have a mix of concealed storage and book storage. So if you want to have your books where your children can reach them, maybe these go up here and the books come down. But I think it's a great way to utilize this space over here. And another thing too, and I'm not sure, this isn't something we really touched on, but I really like the way that it adds some interest into the space, is just painting your interior door this bright kind of poppy color. It just adds a lot of interest, kind of makes it, instead of, you know, trying to hide the fact that you have the front door to your space, you know, in the middle of your living room and putting this traffic flow, it's just highlighting it and really owning it and making it a design feature. And I love how it just adds like a pop of color and contrast to all these kind of blues and grays that we have going on. And again, I know you mentioned having your TV in this cabinet. I think that's a really great use of space for that, especially if you're not concerned about having, you know, your TV be the main focus of your room. I think in this space, the main focus really is this little seating group, which again, these can easily, you know, get moved over here. If you have, you know, a couple more people that need to hang around, we can just go like this and move these over here, and then you've got a little bit more seating, so maybe after dinner everyone's hanging out over there. I think that works really well, but also I think that this reading area and this creation of an entry is really a unique use of the space, where you did have some of those challenges to how to lay it out. So take a look over your design document. There's a little bit more detail in there about mounting heights for art and just some different, you know, design tips and kind of thoughts behind the selections. And then if you have any questions at all, please feel free to email me. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.